What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live composing show. This is Stephen Malin. Hope you're having a fabulous Thursday. I certainly am. It's been a busy day already, but I'm very glad I spent the very first bit of my work day pulling out some good old sheet music. See if you can even see that. And writing down some actual music. Go figure. And you guys will hear me rant about this every once in a while, but I tell you what, as much as I love technology, I love DAWs, I love sample libraries, and all of the things that technology allows us to do, there is nothing in the world like a pen and paper or a pencil and paper and literally sitting at a piano or singing or playing an instrument and actually just spending like an hour writing a simple little melody that feels right, it's singable, it's natural, because there's something that happens when you do that. You just can't replicate that with a machine, with technology. Technology helps us to realize what's in our head. But man, oh man, the older I get, the longer I do this, the longer I write music for a living, the more I get done, the faster I get to the end of the track by actually stepping away from technology and allowing my mind to hear the melody and then to jot it down. Because now, as we sit down at the DAW and we start writing some music for Dark Dice, wonderful soundtrack so far, I can now use this as my cheat sheet, and I don't even have to think about what the melody is. And I can take little fragments from it. I can take the harmonies from it. And it's great, and I can literally write an entire track in one sitting or something like that using this little bit of material. So it's really cool. So I advise anybody who maybe you don't know how to write sheet music, maybe you don't come from a classical background like me, well, I'd say that might be one of your first steps of a very essential skill to learn if you really want to make it far as a composer. So there's my little rant for the day. Hope you guys are doing awesome. Let me know who's in the chat today. Just say, what's up? Or like Robin said, yay. I'm glad you guys are here. So something really cool that was just announced, the Dark Dice soundtrack. I'm not sure if you guys know this yet, but it was announced yesterday that Jeff Goldblum, that's right, he's famous for a lot of things, but probably most from Jurassic Park, he gets to be a character on the Dark Dice podcast first, and who knows what that might turn into. So that was super cool. So I can kind of have my name attached saying, I got to work with Jeff. But he actually gets to be a character. And if you go to any of the Dark Dice social media accounts, you can actually see a picture of him as an elf, and it's hilarious and it's so wonderful. So that's really cool news. And yeah, this week's kind of crazy. My head's spinning because there are, with any large soundtrack, there are multiple pieces moving at the same time. So just to kind of catch you guys up, this phase 2, I think, has 13 tracks that we're working on. And so there's people doing all different stages of this thing. You know, I'm composing new material. There's 2 other composers on the team writing their own material. We have an orchestrator working on some of the tracks right now. We have a copyist doing the sheet music for the tracks right now. All so that by the end of this, we'll have all the materials ready for the Budapest Strings and the Budapest Choir. That way we can record everything and get all the solo musicians and then mix it all together. So it's a crazy big process, but it's a lot of fun. So this is easily a 3 to 4 month process. And you guys only get to see a snippet of it because the reality is I just can't have a camera on me at all times, nor do I want to. But I hope that by doing these streams and showing you real commercial work, that this can help inspire you. This can help give you a bit more of a roadmap about what it's actually like to work on a soundtrack like this. Because most composers dream of having a job like this, but the truth is, if I had gotten this job even just 5 years ago, I wouldn't have been ready for it. That's the truth. Because to do a project of this scale, you have to have team members. You have to have other people in place. And it's never an assembly line of, mechanical, technical work, but there's only so much of it that is creative. And then the rest of it is manual labor of getting the parts ready, getting the scores ready, and all the facets that come with that. So I'm very proud and excited that at this stage in my career, I can write the themes and I can like get the sketches ready and then pass it on and then just kind of be a manager or an overseer, a director at that point. So that's really exciting for me. So without further ado, today we're working on the Eastwood town theme. Within the Dark Dice universe, there are multiple realms or countries within the continent. And we've already spent quite a bit of time on the Leonhardt section, which is like mostly strings and solo vocals, because each of these regions has their own distinct instrumentation. That's part of the orchestrator's job, is to make sure each section has the right instrument groups. We talked about the North Realm up north, which has more like Viking-style music with a lot of woodwind emphasis. We have the Darklands that Brandon's working on, which is very heavy on choir and bells. And then last week we did the Elven Theme, which is now, it sounds so much better than it did. It has a lot more production going into it and orchestration, so that's coming along nicely. And we talked about that last time, how that's in the Tural region, Tural, Tural region of the world, which is much more harp focused and kind of age-old wisdom and all that kind of stuff. So now what we're left with, there's still many more tracks to do, but today's track is the Eastwood town theme. So if you guys remember from phase 1 of this project, Ilmater's Hope and Auden, they're two of the city of the town themes throughout this world, and they're very solemn. They're very almost like a lullaby type themes. And the purpose of me writing themes is we're going to reuse these things throughout the universe, throughout the different properties, throughout the different shows, different media types. So these themes need to be very strong. And that's honestly why I was hired, is to write these themes and then to surround myself with other people to carry out the vision. So, and I know that's my strength more than anything else, is I'm a melodic writer. That's the kind of stuff I love. It's the kind of stuff I've always listened to. So it makes sense to me. So when I write these themes, I'm really thinking about what elements can I put in here that I could arrange this 10 times into 10 other tracks. So if we have this big orchestral track, then it also needs to be singable by a single female vocal. It also needs to be playable on a harp. Also needs to be playable maybe on a piano one day, whatever. There are some fundamental elements that need to be there in the melody. That way it can be used in all these different contexts. So this Eastwood town theme is no different. I was going to play a clip for you guys who got to join. Maybe you didn't get to join. Last year we did a recording session with the Budapest Strings, and this is just a little section of Ilmater's Hope, just to give you a small idea of the style we're going for, because as a town or a city theme, it needs to have kind of this solemn nature. So let's just play a little clip from there. Let's pop it up and get my camera set. So there you go. There's a little reminder of the style we're going for. It's very slow. And there's some melodies that are played on top of that. So if that's kind of the first stage, right, of getting the string beds to really be lush and dynamic and lots of crescendos and decrescendos, that's kind of the style we're going for. But then on top of that, we're using solo violin, solo cello, solo vocals to really carry forth this lullaby-esque, this like we're in this despair-ridden country where everyone's poor and we're being oppressed, and there's this sadness that kind of is pervasive throughout the whole continent. So what that turned into, just to kind of, I can't show you everything because it's just, there's not enough time to go through all the things, all the steps in a large soundtrack like this. But let me pop open. Here's what the final mix sounds like. This is Ilmater's Hope, that same track you just listened to, but this is with all the other instruments playing. All right, so you get the idea of what we're aiming for here today. So this Eastwood track is supposed to be in a similar style to Ilmater's Hope. There's another track, Auden, that had a similar style as well, where it's very singable melodies, very gorgeous, high violin, high vocals that kind of soar on top of this sweeping bed of strings. So that's the same style we're going for. Notice how it's all in a minor scale. They're minor chords, but it's actually an octatonic scale. You guys are going to hear me preach about this so long as you listen to me talk about Dark Dice, because this whole world is unsettling. It's supposed to be. And I can't think of a better scale that represents the sound of this soundtrack. And to refresh your minds, for those who don't know the octatonic scale, it is simply a minor scale. Oops. But instead of doing the traditional intervals, we're instead going to do a whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step. So it's kind of in between a major and a minor scale, but if you take a melody and write it in the octatonic scale, right? That has this like foreign Eastern sound, but then if you put minor chords below it, right? And now it has this it's an iconic sound. It has this unsettling minor slash, so it's like sad plus mysterious, right? So that is what we landed on early on with this project. So that's kind of the direction we're constantly going to try to get this sound. So with all that said, just to kind of, give you that background, I sat at the piano this morning and I was thinking about the Eastwood town theme. Really the only thing that differentiates this area versus the other town areas is this is where the archers live. So it's in a wooded forest-like town, so it needs to have something that has a little bit more weight to it, a little bit of an older civilization versus the others. So I wanted to really root this one in a more classical, almost like a Bach fugue, or you could even say a Chopin nocturne, something that has a little bit more folk flair, so like grace notes. So here's what I came up with. See if you guys like it. So here's the little melody. I'll play it first, and then I'll play some chords, and we can walk through this experience together. I'm not here to give you polished stuff. I'm here to give you my literal work in progress. So here we go. This is the Eastwood town theme. So I automatically think of a violin playing those really high notes, very, I don't know, it really gave me the vibes of like a nocturne. And it's supposed to be really slow, and so I wanted to accompany that melody, which I wrote first before any chords. I wanted to find chords that really felt classic, but also a little bit edgy because of the diminished chords, right? So here's what I decided on. Took about an hour to do this. I really wanted to spend my time on it. Oops. Interesting. So I think it checks all the boxes for the style we're going for. And this is a project that I do not want to rush into because you got to think about the end result here is all live players. So if you get it wrong here, the whole thing's going to be screwed up tens of hours later, right? I don't need 15 hours into this track to have a dumb or bad or incomplete melody, because then the whole thing is, you got to start over. So that's why I took the time to really get that right the way I want it. And I put it in the DAW like this. And now we get to have the fun of turning it to a track. So the final track needs to be 3 minutes long. It's a loop track. So I set a tempo I was happy with, which is 48 BPM. And so far, unless I change it, it kind of alternates between 4/4 and 3/4. And then down here, I just put my looper bar to set exactly to 3 minutes. So down here at the bottom, you can see it says 3:02 because I have one bar. Whoopsies. I have one bar free at the beginning, so it's exactly 3 minutes. And I have all the instruments I'm allowed to choose from, which is a string ensemble, hurdy-gurdy, hammered dulcimer, maybe some percussion if we need it, but mostly solo violin and solo cello. Those are really the two instruments I want to focus on. I don't want vocals on this one. I want this one to really stand out. And the piano is really just a sketch tool so I can get my chords in. So one last time, here's what it sounds like on time. Here's what it sounds like. And I already realized that my little triplet did not make it in, so let's get that in. That is likely just a quantization issue. And I think those are 16th note triplets. Gross. Da-da-da-da-dum. Cool, something like that, right? So this is just kind of there to guide us. I am going to mute the piano because that's not in this world at all. But the first thing that comes to mind for me is let's really milk the violin on this because that's the main lead. That's the focal point of this whole thing. Maybe we could write an intro later. We can write a B section later, but this is the core. This is the meat of the track. And if there's any more tracks that the team needs for this world, maybe there's a shop theme. Maybe there's, I don't know, there's any number of character moments that they need to talk about this town, whatever. We needed this theme to be usable and malleable for other contexts. So that's why it's so good to have it on sheet music, because then I can just pull it up visually and then write around it. I can change the key, whatever. It's a really quick resource for me. So with all that said, let's pull up my favorite solo violin library, which is the Josh Bell by Imbertone. One of the best programming, one of the most well-programmed VSTs in existence. I envy these guys. Let's see how that works. See if that feels right. And we'll pop in a metronome. You can kind of hear it in my ears. Let's go to town. Cool. And hey, thanks for saying that. MimiX2 in the chat says that's an impressively dark tune there. Cool. Thanks for saying that. That's the goal. But it also has a tinge of sadness. So maybe even that feels a little fast. Let's bump it down just a hair to 44. Yum, bum, bum, bum. So I don't want to get lost in the orchestration part, but I do hear certain sounds. So I feel that it doesn't need to be whimsical at all, but let's see how the low strings fare. Robin says, do you press any key switches to make the violin sound so awesome? No, that's why the Imbertone Joshua Bell violin is so well scripted that it literally automatically picks up all little details of my mod wheel and the velocity, how hard I play it. And then the portamento is caused by, the velocity of the first pitch and the velocity of the second pitch if you're holding down the first one. So it's just like, it's so intuitive. It's like the gold standard of string libraries. All right, here we go. That's kind of what I had in my head. Trying to look at my sheet music here. I need some kind of swells in here for sure. Let's kind of play around a little bit. here's what I need. That's cool and all, but I want a certain patch. There's probably my favorite string patch of all time. It's a contornino, so all the strings have their mutes on, but they're swells, and yeah, we'll see how well it works. This is not a 4/4 time signature per se. I don't know if it's even going to work, but it's still a cool patch. Let's see if it works. It's by Adagietto, by 8DO. Come on, Contact. One job. It doesn't load its folder super well. I'm sure there's some way to like batch save everything. Okay. We need ensemble. Come on. I always want it to feel like it's moving. Never stagnant. Harmonically, melodically, and rhythmically. That's a good recipe for success, for a memorable melody. Obviously, the melody is singable by itself, but in like the town context, I want there to be some kind of motion. It helps that it's in 3/4 time, and it kind of goes into a 6/8 time, which is just a subdivision of 3, right? All right, here it is. So it's the dynamic bowing sordinos. Let's see what happens. I'll try out number 2. Oh, good. There's a dynamic. Here we go. This is what I want. It's time machined. So it just means that it's going to match my tempo. That's cool. All right, so let's mix it a little bit. See how this feels. Just to kind of get that swell, because this sounds dangerously close to the real ensemble. That's why I like this patch so much. Let's give it a healthy dose of reverb over here in the mixer. Just doing like 20% of a hall. Again, none of this really matters right now because we're not mixing really anything. We're just trying to get the demo to sound less than awful, right? Cool. And I want to expand from there because you can't just have straight melody at all times. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is instead of using any major chords, I'm trying to use the minor 4. So we're in the key of G minor, so the minor 4 is the C minor. If I wanted to use a major chord, I would use the major 6, the E flat major, but it sounds too happy in this context. So we're going to continue along these lines, but we want a new section. Whoops, let's create, oh Lord, let's create a B section, and here we will hover on the C minor chord. Here. something in that realm. So I'm trying to hover around the inverse of my chord structure. So if the A section really hovers around G minor, then the B section should hover around the subdominant, which is the C minor. Just basic music theory right there for minor scales, right? That's exactly what Bach would have done. That's what Beethoven would have done with the key of G minor. So what I'm trying to do is throw in some interest by staying true to the classical structure nature, but I'm trying to be a little bit different by like adding the E flat minor. It's like the Danny Elfman chord, which is actually in the Octatonic Scale, so it really does live within this realm, for lack of a better word. So, for example, instead of just always doing 1s and 4s, and 1s and 5s, or 7 diminished, which is fine and good, but how cool is it when we can throw in a chromatic mediant? There's another one right there, the flat 2, which is like an iconic Dark Dice thing. It just helps, man. And whenever we land on these tonic chords, these G minors, right? If you really want to spice it up, make it a 2 chord or a 4 chord. So instead of just doing a traditional G minor, nothing wrong with that, but how much more interesting if we do a G2? Just changes the tonality a little bit, right? And yes, Nicholas, that is Keyscape. That's just my demo patch here. Just using the cinematic patch. It's a good sketching tool. No reverb on that, just kind of has a baked in reverb. As much as I adore writing with piano, the only hard rule of this soundtrack is no piano. Because the pianos wouldn't exist in this world. Doesn't make any sense. So they're trying to keep things a little bit more organic to that world. Including, I don't know if I can share this or not, but I'm going to anyway. One of the characters has a bow harp, which I'll be writing with soon. So I literally created my own sample instrument. I combined a bunch of harps and did some effects to it. And it's literally a crossbow that has a harp on top. And that's one of the character's weapons. It's one of their... Yeah, it's cool. So we're going to write some music with that. So they're very particular. The team really wants this world to feel organic and real. And I think that's awesome. What that always reminds me of is the Hyrule Castle from Breath of the Wild. That's a Koji Kondo-ism too, which I adore. Not that he wrote that, but that chord movement, if you will, is from the original A Link to the Past, Super Nintendo days Zelda, Hyrule Castle, right? Dum ba dum ba dum ba dum bum 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 ba dum. Right? Octatonic Scale, baby. Everyone does it. Not really. Very few do it, but it's like the coolest way to add dark energy. That's so cool. That's kind of that style, which I love. Also found in Zelda 2. Not Koji Kondo, but still good stuff. Anyway, I'm getting totally off track here. Just kind of see the style I'm going for, right? So here, let's actually write out the chords. I think this will be helpful. I like doing these in sixes. Is that 6? 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's kind of a 6/8, but whatever. We'll stick with 3. Cool. So hurdy-gurdy is a big part of the soundtrack, so I'm going to follow the bass line with that. That's just a drone of the hurdy. Twisting the wheel. So I like this part. I think it'd be cool to throw in, finally, a D7 chord there, which I'm kind of already doing. Cool. This is a brassless soundtrack, by the way, so I can't use brass or anything. Yeah, so Mimi X2. I'm gonna type it in the chat so you can read it. This is the Octatonic Scale, also called the half diminished scale. So to quickly explain that, I sort of talked about it earlier, but let me show you on a piano what it looks like. Let me actually zoom in. Check this out. Oops, it's upside down. Darn it. Maybe I can flip it real quick. Ya, ya, da, 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 da. It's still backwards. Ya, da, 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 da. There we are. Does it screw up everything else? Nope, it's still good. Yay, the power of live streaming. Okay. So a diminished scale, a diminished chord, right? So it would be C, E flat, G flat. If we make it a half diminished scale, we add the A on top. So they're all equidistant from one another. They're all minor thirds. Third, third, third. Get that? Okay. And then what happens if we start the same exact chord but do everything one step higher? Now it's C sharp, E, G, B flat. So what happens if we take both chords and play them at the same time? Those are all of the possible notes we're allowed to use. So notice it's all the notes except for D and A flat and B. So if that helps you, those are all the notes we're allowed to use. So it's larger than a normal scale. Right? It's super weird, but that's what makes it so mysterious and interesting. So there you go. It's fun. The Metroid series, especially Super Metroid and Metroid Prime, those use it extensively. It's the darkest scale there is. It's darker than a minor, because a minor scale still has major chords in it, right? C minor still has E flat major. But in Octatonic Scale, something like that, they're like all diminished. It's really interesting. I don't use it for my harmonic writing. I use it for my melodic writing. That's what's so interesting to me. Anyway. Thing I've learned as well is when you write a good melody, you could put any amount of percussion on top of it and it still breathes. So that way, for the purpose of layering and rearranging this for other contexts in the world, it's cool to just try out some percussion on top to see, okay, cool, yeah, we can get a groove here. So this part actually needs a B section. I haven't written a B section. I'm thinking... So really the most iconic note of the octatonic scale is the flat 2. So it's a sharp 7 and a flat 2. So as long as you can hover around the tonic note, which is the 1, If you can hover around it with a flat 2 and a sharp 7. Hey, thanks so much. Thank you so much, Mimi X2. $5. Appreciate it. Now I can go get a Subway. I appreciate you. Yeah, so this will be in the final soundtrack. You can already listen to the Dark Dice soundtrack. Season 2 is out. It's currently an audio drama, but we're working on other properties too. It's a universe. It's a multiverse. Not just an audio drama podcast, but that is certainly where things are now. You can listen to all of the previously created music on there. I think Il Mater's Hope is actually the track we talked about earlier. Is actually being used really soon. It's definitely in season 2. The thing with production is whenever you're working with a production team, they're planning out like a year or 2 in advance. So when I write something, I really never know where it's going to end up. It could be anywhere. And this team, Full and Scholar Productions, is very prolific. They are working on half a dozen confirmed projects at once. It's insane. They're working on a lot of things. And it's a small indie team, but they have a lot of, prolific is the right word. They're just working on a lot of stuff. And I have my hands in almost all of it. So it's a ton of fun. Some announced, some unannounced projects in there. But what that means is I stay very busy writing music. And sometimes I don't hear about something until 6 months later or a year later. And I'm like, oh, so that's how they used that track. So a lot of what I'm doing here today with the Dark Dice music is reused in multiple contexts. So if you hear this theme again, I mean, all of these themes that I'm streaming with you guys are going to be reused many times, not just this exact arrangement, but in other contexts too. So it's crazy. I can't even track them all, but there you go. So if you want to go listen, let me actually pop up something just because you're asking. Give me a sec. This is like, I'll give you a bone. Go check out the Dark Dice soundtrack, the released. There you go. That's just a snippet of what we've done, but that'll get you, 15 tracks or so just to go poke your head through the Bandcamp. That's super unofficial because that's kind of a culmination of multiple projects in one, but you kind of get the idea. You can hear some of the stuff. So anyway, my rant's over. Let's write some music. I liked the cello idea. We have a killer cellist on this soundtrack, by the way, Scott Szymanski. If any of you need an amazing cellist, oh my gosh, he's crushing it on every track. Mimi says, enjoy the Subway. I'll have to check that out. Dark Dice sounds like they have a great team behind the scenes. Yes, and if you didn't hear, Jeff Goldblum of Jurassic Park fame, they just announced yesterday, the Dark Dice team on social media. I can finally talk about it now. He's going to be a character in an upcoming episode. So heck yeah, they even drew him his own character. It's amazing. So cool. I love these guys. They're so fun to work with because they do stuff like that. And I mean, you guys already know this. I'm already working with David Wise of Donkey Kong Country fame on one of these Dark Dice tracks as well. So it's like, what a weird month for me, but have my hands in many things and it's super exciting, but I don't really have time to stop and go, whoa, that's cool. I can go, hey, that's cool. Now let's keep writing. So here we go. Oops. Okay, that desperately needs a... I don't even know what the theory is for it, but it's so let me sing it. Robin. Thank you. 2 Subways better than 1. I don't even know what a SEK is or how much 50 of those is worth, but thank you. If that's worth a Subway, let's go. Thanks so much. Thank you. I totally missed the Zelda movie. Dang it. No, 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 no. You still got it. Okay, you guys have to know this about YouTube Live and Twitch. I see what you see like 30 seconds in the future, so sometimes I don't catch things. Sorry. And I don't hear what you hear. Whatever. It's super bizarre. That's probably the hardest, like the weirdest thing to get used to. Hey, what's up, Adil? Welcome to the live show. Glad you're here. Where were we? You guys see how it's so simple, right? I'm literally singing 3 notes. But it's powerful, it's weighty. And one of the conversations I'm having with the team is, and really what they're trusting me with as the lead composer on this, my goal is to write melodies that feel like they've always been. What a concept, right? But this is what really separates the masters from the amateurs. It does. When you listen to a John Williams melody, a Danny Elfman melody, a Howard Shore melody, any of these big melodic composers, their melodies sound like they've been around for 3,000 years. It's like it always has been. It always will be. And it's like this lullaby quality. And that's why this track needs something like that. And I think if you were to kind of break down what makes a melody so singable and rememberable, it's because it's because the notes. What's a good way of describing it? It's like to make something singable. And I've taught about this. If you guys have taken any of my courses before, I break this out that I think there's actually 5 reasons that make a singable melody. And probably the core reason, though, is the notes, the gravity principle, where notes start on the tonic, right? 1. They go up, but then they have to come back down. If they go down, they have to come back up. So there's like this magnet around the tonic that if you go away from it, it has to come back down. So that alone makes things singable. But to be memorable, you have to use large jumps, large leaps. There's a simplicity behind it, right? But what I'm also thinking about is how can I keep it passing tones is the another one, where the notes in between the chords. So I'm just playing a C minor to a G minor to an F diminished 7. Right? Pretty simple chord, but the melody, right? None of those, that A is not in the chord, right? But because I passed through it and because I repeated it, and now I'm going to modulate, let's throw in an odd note. Now it's stuck in your head because I use the principle of repetition. So right? Something like that. Like that's how you do it, because you want to change just enough to be interesting, but still stay in the key center. So I'm not saying that my way is the only way, but I'm trying to take what has worked for thousands of years for the classical composers and now modern composers. What do they do, and how can we apply it to modern music, right? So that's all I'm doing here. Chances are, the more you write and the more you play of the masters, more of their music you play and listen to, you're going to pick up on these trends too. So there's your little lesson for the day. I like my chords though. The only thing I would change, I don't want it to be an A7. Too happy. I would call that like a Grant Kirkhope chord. He uses those a lot. That's another story. See, knowing what to do is just as important as what not to do, right? You kind of have to know what fits in the context. So anyway, let me do my little singing here. Nope, not yet. Ah, it's supposed to be C minor. So that would be the Grant Kirkhope way of finishing that phrase. Which would be fine in a Mario game, but that's how he uses the Octatonic Scale. FYI, he uses it to write goofy music. I use it to write dark music. There's a same technique, different context. So I can't go into the major territory. So the only chord left would be, can't do that one, right? But I want the C sharp as the melody. What's left? There it is, E diminished. 7. Ooh, and it's crunchy. So I'm just using theory. So Octatonic. But I don't want to resolve because that would be way too happy. Just leave it. Open fifths. Add a 2 if you want some spice. That's it. Then back to the beginning. Here's the new melody. Ugh. Where is it? It's almost like you have to completely omit the third, or else it makes it too happy. Cool, let's write it in. And that's 100% a cello line to me, but I want to make sure that the chords up here. So C minor, G minor, F diminished, G minor, C minor, G minor, E diminished. Right? That's where we kind of modulate. E diminished 7. Yeah. We'll just call it D5. sus2. I know that sounds like a stupid name for a chord, but it is telling me don't do a third there. Like that. G minor. So, it's implied, but I don't want to hear it. Too happy, so we just go to the... Cool. And there it is. Back to the G minor. Let's put it in, because that is a solo cello moment, if there ever was one. Just for fun, so you guys can hear, since I am a contact nerd, I make samples of everything, guys. And I highly encourage you guys to do this. So the last time I recorded Scott Szymanski, I made a sample of him. Of course, it's not great because it's not like we recorded for a sample session, but I literally have a folder on one of my drives here. I'm not going to show it everything. Let me find it. Where anytime I record a musician, I keep their stuff and I just make a quick contact instrument because I'm writing for this human. Why should I not use music that sounds like the human? So here's my little Szymanski cello. That's it. And this is literally what he sounds like because it's really him. So it's going to give us, as a team, the right sound. And we can use the Tina Guo all day, but it's going to sound fake. And even though this is a chopped up version of the real thing, it still is going to sound way closer to the real thing because it's literally the same human. Oops. Get the picture, right? Did you hear that crunchy crunch in the string swells? That's my D5. And I even threw in like a seventh in there to give it some extra crunch. It just adds to the tension. Hey, what's up, Cameron? Welcome. Ooh, I like that as a melody. I have no idea what the heck tempo or time signature we're supposed to be in at the moment, but I'm gonna crank it up here, probably to 88. It's a tempo metric conversion of double time, and I need it to be in 3/4 time. Triplet, triple, triplet, duple, duple, triplet, duple, duple, dun 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 dun. One and a 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and so it is 3/4. Just doing some stress on different. That's a cool use of 3/4. I like that. Makes me want to change everything tempo-wise, because that feels too fast, but I want it to be a 1-to-2 conversion. So maybe 80 and maybe 40 without getting crazy slow at the beginning. Let's feel out that second section. Oh no, Cubase, you've done it again. You've ruined my life. Cubase 11 has some serious issues with tempo. I don't understand it. It's been screwing me up for days. It's like it stretches certain things but not other things. It's like, stop it, Cubase. Don't need you to ruin my life today. So I don't have a choice at the moment. I have to stick with this and mess with that later. So love Cubase. I just don't understand all the new changes of 11. So triplet, duple, duple, triplet, dun dun, triplet, duple, duple, triplet, duple, duple, dun 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 dun. I'm gonna quantize these real quick. That's gonna drive me crazy. Dun dun dun, dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Then make out everything else. Takes a second, but it's worth it. Sorry, not sorry. My show. You guys been very generous today. I appreciate that. Every little bit helps. Yum bum 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 bum. Those are eighth notes, right? Yay! Here we go. I love quartal harmony using fourths. Cool. Definitely have some good ideas to extrapolate later. Cool. And to be honest, I mean, a big part of this job is getting all the materials in the canvas, and then the orchestrator, Chris, for this project, takes all the puzzle pieces and then kind of fills them together, takes this from this from this, and construes it into something that's actually usable, right? I'm the composer. I'm the guy that just kind of spits ideas, and then I have lovely, lovely friends and teammates who make sense of all of my paint on the wall, so to speak. And just for fun, if you guys will indulge me, I want to record that. So nothing like seeing a demo that sounds really good to the team. And I think I'll just use this microphone right here. So if you'll indulge me, I'm going to record some violin, just because I have the sheet music. I think I would enjoy doing that. You might enjoy a slice of recording a real instrument. What the heck microphone is this? Unfortunately, I have many. It's not a bad problem, just I don't remember anything. There we go, number 2. They're labeled, I promise. I just like brain activate. And it's, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have a really good violinist actually record this later, but I don't have to pay anyone to do this right now. So, yeah. Oh, you're very kind, Mimi. Let's see. Let me grab Throws Away Guitar. You guys are funny. I'll tell you what, you guys give me a second. Let's take a quick coffee break. I'm going to grab the violin. I'll be back in just a couple minutes, and we'll get ready to record some stuff. Don't go anywhere. See you soon. Welcome back, friends, to the show. For anyone who has not yet met Ultima, the violin, in all of his beauty, welcome to the show, Ultima. Let's give a round of applause. His birthday was about, 150 years ago, maybe pushing 200 years. This thing is ancient. It is gorgeous. And the story behind Ultima is, well, I built it, sort of. Recently had this passed down from several generations ago. And you can't really see them right now, but I have a couple old violins back here. And I took parts from 3 violins and combined them with this one, because this was the most beautiful looking and sounding of the bunch. And I put modern pieces and combined it all together to the body of this instrument. Then I put all the pegs and the strings and such onto this one. So this, to my ears, is the most gorgeous violin I've ever had. It has a gorgeous tone. And man, if this instrument could talk, it's been through, I think it dates back to the Civil War, the 1800s. Crazy, huh? Crazy. So anyway, so I would just love... I always like to impress my clients. I think this is one of those ways to take your demo to the next level. It's not necessary, but man, is it going to add some depth and some musicality to the process today. You notice I switched my headphones because whenever you record an instrument, you don't need bleed from your headphones. So these are closed back, typical headphones that it's not going to record into the mic. But if I use my other open back headphones, it leaks out sound. So that would not be good for recording a violin. So anyway, let's get cranking. I'm going to mute the MIDI. I'm going to label it though. So I have my mic set up here. It's a pretty simple process here where let's do a little mic check. I am going to stand, so it's going to look a little bit awkward, but I have my sheet music that I wrote by hand this morning, and let's record the thing. And one more thing, whenever I record an instrument, I like to only have one headphone on. That way I can hear myself. I just tuned up. Let's do a little test run just to see how it sounds and feels. I'm not quite in tune. Another fun fact is this thing is, I'm not used to it, so my fingers are like hitting all the wrong notes. Every violin's a little bit different with its spacing. All right, I'm about as good as I'm gonna be. I'm not a fantastic violinist, but you know, have some basic skills. Man, I can't even see you guys. You can't see me. It's fine. Anyway, let's record this. I'm gonna slap a tiny bit of reverb on there, just so this is not a miserable process for all. I'm gonna let you guys hear what's coming out of the DAW. And I do that over here with the little input monitoring button right there. Test. So I'm going to mute my mic while I record. Testing. I'll try again. Not my best. Whoops, have to record this time. Final try. Tell you what, guys, you know what's so difficult about this is my tempo is it's in 3/4 time, but I'm playing a track in 6/8. So my click is like in no man's land. These really long big beats. So, oh my heavens. I'm not sure what else I could do to help with the click other than to create my own click, but that's gonna take too much time. So let me just try again. I'm getting there. You guys have been troopers hanging out. Let me try one last time. Cool. No. To be fair, I'm a better viola player than I am a violin player, so I love the low notes. I'm not so great at the high notes. So I want to see if I can double that cello line. It might sound really cool. Give it a shot. Whoops, you didn't hear any of that. Cool. La da 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 ya da. Give me 2 seconds to hang out the violin. La da da ya da da da. All right, friends. Hey. Got ourselves a subscriber. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the family. All right, cool. So now that I have my headphones all switched around and stuff. Yeah, I've been playing violin for a while. Since I was 11, so 20 years. Good Lord. It's a long time to play an instrument. It's not my best instrument, but sure is fun. I've always loved playing strings. So much fun to play. So here's a little secret. You guys ready for secrets? Pew. Over here, there's no way we're going to take that nasty recording, so we're going to use good old Melodyne. Probably the best auto-tune out there that's not $1,000 gajillion. So let's pop that over here. Really easy to use. Big fan. All you do is you start the track. Let's get rid of all the rubbish. It's the first time I've ever used rubbish, ever. Rubbish from the beginning. My English friends are rubbing off me. Just doing some basic crossfade stuff. Not even crossfades, but just like fade in, fade out, right? The simplest little things. We don't want any of those little pops and buzzes and whatever in the final. So there we go. Let's take a good old violin here. All we do is we play what we got. Right, it's kind of basic, not great, but with a little trick here, shabam shaboom. Let's use this bad boy here. Pitch center, 100% pitch drift, not 100, but like in the middle. Now it sounds like freaking Josh Bell. Maybe not. Now some of these you might not want to use any, so you can always drag it back down like that. So much better. So if you have like a flub like that, you can actually just re-record that little piece of it. It'll actually conjoin them together, which is pretty awesome. So open the plugin again. Hello. I just sing your praises, Melodyne. Don't be that guy. All right. Holy. There it is. So you can see how it like morphs them together. Like, come on, guys. That is 5,000 times better than trying to take a VST and massage it for 30 minutes. What the heck? Right? Even though I'm not the best violinist, I can play. So that just adds such depth and musicality and emotion to a demo, to a sketch, that when I send it to the team, they're going to go, whoa! Like, they weren't expecting that, right? And it's just such a cool little add-on, a little bonus where you can, right? It sells it. So let's give this exact same treatment. We have to pitch shift one of them because I can't hit that note, but that's easy peasy to do here. Yeah, Melodyne. I didn't say it was not a cheap plugin because it's got some serious glitch factor here. It's always been glitchy, but it's still a great plugin. Perfect. So then I just, do the thing. Do that magic button thing. Now, one of those needs to be an F sharp. Isn't that cool? Hey, Dan, you might want to rewind. Welcome to the show. Might want to rewind. I recorded that. I just used Melodyne to pitch tune. I like that. Just adding some motion. I love hand percussion for like town type themes. Very interesting. I feel like from there, we would just kind of go, stay in that tempo till the end. It's 3 minutes, so way out here. A few more bars. Right there. So I have to be careful not to turn this to a battle theme, which I'm prone to do. However, there's always an opportunity for a battle track because each of these areas have battles and things. So what I'm trying to do is convert this into a battle theme to make sure that the melody works, and it does. I did this last week, and guess what, guys? Remember how I goofed around with the Elven theme? I did like a little battle track out of it, and the developers, team members are like, hey, you want to do that for real? You want to really make a track out of that? So let me just toy with the idea for a second, because you never know. Let's say if this is the Eastwood encounter, let's call that a thing. Because encounter is like the name of all the battle tracks. If this was a thing, what would we do? Well, we would make it 4/4 because 3/4 battle tracks are weird. But it'll be a fast 4/4. It's actually perfect. Maybe a little bit slower. And just keep it in that same scale, right? A little bit slower, maybe like 82. Not that I'm trying to write more, but it's an idea worth exploring. I'm just kind of playing some of the notes from the sheet music. So you can play it backwards too, and it works. Whee! Just getting some ideas out. Do the double chugs. Something like that. And you could easily put a melody on top of that. Another idea is if we're doing this faster tempo, something like this. Yeah, I like that. Cool. I'll keep that one right there. Cool. Just, playing around. Something that you could easily throw some. So I'm literally just converting the sheet music. That's why I do sheet music. If that wasn't unclear. Come on, hand percussion. Get with the program. See if that helps. None of this is final, just playing. Really living up to the name of East. Cool. Anything else I can do with this before I wrap this party up? I like the idea. That's fun. Such quiet percussion. Bum, 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 bum. Da, da, da. 30-second notes today. Some ideas, something to come back to later. Cool. So my friends, that's all I'm going to do for today. I'm a little unburnt. So I like what we have. I like that we have a main theme, even have a B theme in there. That's really all we need. So from here, the orchestrator's job is to, once we get that improved and stuff, he's going to flesh it out, add a little bit more of the inner working material and add some space, because typically tracks don't just like smack you in the face with melody after melody, right? There's like some breathing room, there's some intro and that kind of stuff. So we have the material we need. We just need to kind of flesh it out. But cool. I'm happy with that so far. It's not bad for a couple hours of work. I'm happy with that, and I'm going to wrap it up for today. So that's the Eastwood Town theme for Dark Dice, at least what we have so far. These tracks have a way of changing quite a bit from collaboration to collaboration. So I'm excited to see where this one goes. Hope you guys had fun just being a part of the process. It was fun to whip out the violin today. That was cool. So here we go. Let's play what we have so far for Eastwood Town theme for the Dark Dice soundtrack. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.